You just won the Super Bowl. What are you doing next?
I'm gonna go to Disney World.
Welcome back to Disney Marvels for week of February 3rd, 2019. This is episode 33. Disney Marvels, the show about Disney, Marvel, the movies, parks, and much, much more. If it has to do with Disney, it's fair game. I'm your host, Matthew Graykin. Now, on to the news. Beaches and Cream Show Shop at Walt Disney World's Disney Beach Club Resort will be undergoing a lengthy 3-month refurbishment beginning in early August. During the closure, there will be a temporary location at Disney Beaches Club Resorts. There will be a temporary location at the Disney Beach Club Resort available to offer guests their ice cream fixes. Unfortunately, during this closure, the walk-up window will be closed. The reasoning for the refurbishment is to improve the pre-existing layout of the eatery, and if you've been inside, you know it is kind of cozy. So stock up on your kitchen sinks now before August. Disney has filed the permits to begin construction of the roller coaster track for the upcoming Tron coaster at the Magic Kingdom. The permits describe the work as install ride steel, with the work being carried out by longtime Disney construction partner Coastal Steels Incorporated. Disney is yet to announce an opening date for Tron at the Walt Disney World Resort, but we expect it to be around sometime in spring of 2021. Walt Disney Presents at Disney's Hollywood Studios will be showing a sneak peek of the upcoming Dumbo movie. Beginning March 1st, 2019, catch a special preview of scenes from Disney's all-new live-action adventure, Dumbo, which is set to debut in theaters on March 29th, 2019. Guests staying at the Yacht and Beach Club resorts are being randomly selected. This is at Walt Disney World again. Randomly selected to take part in a test where smart speakers are put in the room that can be used to access information about their vacation. As with smart speakers in the home, such as Apple HomePods, Google Home, the Amazon Echo, guests staying at the hotel can use these speakers to access things like the weather and music, but specifically for Walt Disney World, they can check out park hours and bus information. For Disney, this is the latest test representing a continued drive to add more technology to guest stay at Walt Disney World. Recent developments including Bluetooth room entry, mobile food ordering, and continued enhancements to the My Disney Experience app. Now over to Anaheim, California. On January 25th, the fan-favorite Mickey's Sensational Parade returned to Disneyland Park. As part of Get Your Ears On, Mickey and Minnie's Celebration, the biggest party for the legendary duel in Disneyland history. This popular daytime parade puts music in motion with Disney characters, performers, and 2 new parade floats with eye-catching visuals and whimsical elements. Mickey starts the party in a larger-than-life opening as he and his drum corps kick off a lively musical procession with Disney characters. Next up was Chip and Dale arriving with a grand new celebration cake, followed by Goofy pulling another new float, inspired by the classic nostalgic Mickey pool toys. In this beloved parade, a breviary of favorite Disney characters stomp and strut down Main Street, USA, including such as Aladdin, Ariel, Cinderella, and Peter Pan, following, quote-unquote, the leader of the club, Mickey Mouse. Star Wars Resistance fans, Season 2 is a go for fall of 2019. Currently, there is a mid-season teaser available for current Season 1 as well, just ahead of it coming back from its mid-season break. In other slightly Disney-related news, Sony locks in a tentative July 31st, 2020 release date for their next Spider-Man spin-off, Morbius. The film about a biochemist turned vampire is set to star Jared Leto as Dr. Morbius, Adria Arjumora, I apologize, as Martine Bancroft, and Matt Smith in an unannounced role. This is stemming off the success they had with Venom, which they are also working on the sequel to, as well as the sequel to Into the Spider-Verse, all in the works. In sad news, Albert Finney passed away on February 8th at the age of 82. Not known so much for Disney work, but many people will remember him from Erin Brockovich or the 1980s Annie movie as Daddy Warbucks. Now, a short break. And now, on with the show.
When you wish upon a star, as dreamers do.
This past Sunday, one of the single biggest viewing sporting events took place. The American football game known as the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 53, though not one of the best examples of American football games, nonetheless, the New England Patriots won again. Probably, if you were to ask me, that's because they weren't playing against the New York Football Giants, but I digress. That's an argument for another time on a whole nother different podcast. But with that win, both Tom Brady and Julian Edelman got to say those immortal words. I'm going to Disney World. Or sometimes Disneyland, depending on the circumstances, generally determined by location. And now we get to enjoy a whole new I'm going to Disney World or Disneyland commercial. Cue When You Wish Upon a Star, the fireworks, the castle, the dreamy music. But when did this all start? How? How did it all start? Was it some rich corporate advertising executive who had another great idea? No, not really. So how did this series of commercials that have become so renowned begin? I've heard two tellings of this tale. Both of them start in 1987 when Phil Simms and the New York Giants had just won the Super Bowl 21 against the Denver Broncos. The cameras rushed onto the field. Candidly, Phil Simms turned to the camera and declared he's going to Disney World. From there, the Disney company headed by Michael Eisner, jumped on the marketing idea. That's one rendition. The second comes from Michael Eisner's 1998 memoir, A Work in Progress. In it, Michael recalls they were at a dinner party. Himself with his wife Jane, George Lucas, Dick Rutan, and Gina Yeager, apologize. The former two being the first people to fly around the world without stopping. Mike Eisner writes, or recalls, it was late and the conversation hit a lull, a bit of a lull as we waited for our food. So I asked Dick and Jenna, well, now that you've accomplished the pinnacle of your aspirations, what could you possibly do next? Rutan responded without hesitation, I'm going to Disneyland. And of course I go, Wow, that's cool. You made the right choice. But my wife interjects, you know, that would be a good slogan. Later that month, Phil Simms had the honor of not only winning the Super Bowl, but to be the first person in history to say those famous words. Now, there is a report that both Phil Simms and his opposing quarterback counterpart, John Elway, were offered the sum of $75,000 if they won to recite that phrase. I don't know if this is completely true, but I do know that Phil Simms enjoyed a nice trip to Florida. Though Michael was technically the first to ask the question, it was the quick brilliance of his wife Jane to realize the simple genius of how I'm going to Disneyland would make a great campaign. Phil Simms, as we all know, is not the last person to recite this phrase. And it has not been limited to just Super Bowls either. Others who've recited this phrase, hold on, this is a fairly comprehensive list, but not complete, include Doug Williams, Joe Montana, Otis Anderson, Mark Ripken, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Jerry Rice, Steve Young, Desmond Howard, John Elway, Terrell Davis, Kurt Warner, Trent Dilfer, Tom Brady, John Gruden, and Brad Johnson, Jerome Bettis, the bus, Tony Dungy, and Dominic Rose, Eli Manning, Santiago Holmes, Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Flacco, Malcolm Smith, Julian Edelman, and Malcolm Butler. These are all football players. But as I said, it's not been limited to football players. So you've had people such as American Cup winner Dennis Conner, Magic Johnson of the Lakers, Frank Viola from the Minnesota Twins, Miss America 1988, Gretchen Carlson, Orel Hersher of the Los Angeles Dodgers, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar also of the Lakers, Al McGinnis of the Calgary Flames, Joe Damaris from the Pistons, Jim Thompson from Temple University graduation, Matt Cloudenberg, Phyllis Cloudenberg, Laura McEwen, all from Simpson College graduation, Michael Jordan of the Chicago Bulls, Patrick Waugh of the Canadiens, Jeff Gordon of NASCAR, the NASCAR driver, Nancy Kerrigan, the U.S. figure skater. Good old Santa Claus has even said it. Mark McGinnis of the St. Louis Cardinals. The entire 1999 U.S. women's national soccer team have had the honor of saying it. David Cook and Chris Allen of the American Idol winners, Bruce Springsteen, the boss, and many more. There were 2 times, though, in history that they did not record a commercial. That was back in 2005 and more recently in 2016. Though, don't worry, in 2016, Peyton Manning did still take his family to celebrate at Disneyland right before he announced his retirement. So, thinking back, though, we know now who has said that they're going to Disney World and Disneyland, but who was the one asking this iconic question? The voice we're hearing asking of these lucky individuals, the all-important question, that would be one Mark Champion. Who is he? He's currently a play-by-play announcer for the Detroit Pistons. He's been doing this job since 2001. He's done play-by-play announcing for a number of other sports teams during times the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, some of the WNBA teams. So that's your lucky guy. He's the one that gets to ask people So, now that you've listened to this podcast, what are you doing next? Or you joyfully reply, I'm going to Disney World, or I'm going to Disneyland, or hey, I'm doing both. So there you have it. How did it all begin? Well, as many men pursuing a great idea, like Mike Eisner had, or was pursuing at that time, that idea was given to him by his wife. So thank you, Jane Eisner, for such memorable commercials for the past, almost 30-some decades now. Over 30-some decades. Do you have a favorite variation of this ad? Who's your favorite who said it, or even sang it? Because you've had a couple different people. Idina Menzel even sang the When I Wish Upon a Star for 1 year. So, who's your favorite that said, I'm going to Disney World or Disneyland, or sang When I Wish Upon a Star? Let us know. Shout it on the socials. Join the conversation on Facebook at facebook.com/Disney Marvels Podcast, or on the Twitter at Disney Marvels. Don't want to do it on the social? You can email the show, or even if you have any ideas or suggestions for the show, you can email us at disneymarvels@gmail.com. The email address is disneymarvels@gmail.com. I want to take this moment to say thank you. Thank you for listening. I know how little time you all have in our lives, just how crazy life has been. It only gets crazier, doesn't it? So I know that you've taken, knowing that you've taken some of that time out to spend it with me and listen to me means a lot. If I could ask you for a few more moments, though, if you could just make sure that you share the show with others who you think would enjoy it. And while you're at it, go online and rate the show, or share it on social media while you're rating it. Leaving comments, it does a lot get the word out. It really does help and keeps the show going. The more people, especially Disney people, you get this Disney family together, just wonderful things happen. It changes the world in a better way. Finally, if you want to also become a premium subscriber and help the show out, go to anchor.fm/DisneyMarvels/support to make your donation. Again, that web address is anchor.fm/DisneyMarvels/support to become a premium subscriber. Just remember, this show is made possible by listeners like you. Remember, whatever you're facing in life, no matter how challenging or difficult, no matter how dark the days may seem, look in your heart. Look deep within inside yourself. Find the light. No matter how dim it may be, how deep down you have to look for it, it's there, believe me. This is your strength. The strength is within you. Be your own hero, and you too can do amazing things. I will end this show with a quote from Walt Disney, as I do in most cases. You can dream, create, design, and build the most wonderful place in the world, but it requires people to make that dream a reality. It's Walt Disney. Thank you again for listening, and I'll see you next time.
You wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you.
Tom Brady and Julian Edelman, you and the New England Patriots have just won the Super Bowl. What are you going to do next?
We're going to Disney World!